Hi there, this is Solitary Ronan from Solitary Ronan Films, and welcome to part 5 of my Jodorowsky season, and we're going to talk about The Rainbow Thief from 1990. As you can see, I only have this on a German DVD. It stars Peter O'Toole, Omar Sharif, Christopher Lee, Ian Jury, and a load of page 3 girls from the UK. This is 1 year after kind of triumphant return to form with Santa Sangre. But this is Jodorowsky as director for hire. He has since disowned this film and doesn't really like talking about it. The producers throughout the film threatened him not to change the script or not to do anything that was off-piste. So what we have is a Jodorowsky film that's not really a Jodorowsky film. It's Jodorowsky neutered. I mean, you could make the argument that it proves whether Jodorowsky's a great director or not. You know, there's plenty of directors that just basically did jobs for hire that still produce high quality work, whereas this form of Jodorowsky neutered, if his heart's not in it, he's not really that interested, and it has little hints of Jodorowsky, but it's not full blown Jodorowsky, and you can tell. It's 87 minutes long. It could have easily been 77 minutes long. It's a bit lackluster, it's a bit lifeless, and it is, I mean, it has some charm, but there's a reason why Jodorowsky's disowned it. So it's a really simple story. It was shot in Gdansk in Poland, and it has that strange Europe, but you can't quite place where it is type of feel. And we're introduced to Christopher Lee's character, Uncle Rudolph, who is this eccentric millionaire who is obsessed with his Dalmatians. He rides a little cart that is kind of shaped like a Dalmatian. He's got a saddle on it. No head or tail, just like the body of a Dalmatian. And he drives this around his mansion, crashing cymbals and playing Ride of the Valkyries. It's a wonderful turn by Christopher Lee, who no doubt Jodorowsky just told him, just do what you like. We're introduced to these characters who come to his house for a dinner party. There's a priest who looks very shady, and other characters who are basically vultures waiting for him to die to get his money. They're at the dinner table, and very much like Brunel's Phantom of Liberty, the dogs get caviar and the humans get big bones left in their plates. So there's lots of interesting things going on in the first 10-15 minutes of the film. But Lee wants to have some fun, so he tells all these hangers-on, these vultures, to leave, and he phones up Madame Rainbow to send over her Rainbow Girls, which is a local brothel, and they come in a truck with a big rainbow on it. The film is The Rainbow Thief anyway. Madame Rainbow is played by glamour model from the 80s Lindsay Drew, and it's pretty much a bunch of page 3 girls in stockings and suspenders, that have a party with Christopher Lee, who no doubt thoroughly enjoyed making this film. He's surrounded by about 7 or 8 glamour models in various states of nudity, but he gets a little bit overexcited and has either a stroke or a heart attack, and he ends up in a coma. And of course we then cut to the lawyer's office, and obviously the hangers-on would quite like his money, but obviously he's in limbo because he's in coma and he hasn't died yet. But they realise his fortune is going to go to his nephew, Prince Meleagre, played by Peter O'Toole, who we're introduced to while they're all talking in the office. Peter O'Toole saunters in with a wolfhound and a big floppy hat and a big cape, and he leaves tarot cards around. So again, there's little Jodorowsky isms, but not full-blown Jodorowsky isms. So the first 15 minutes is full of life and scantily clad women, and then Peter O'Toole leaves and goes down into the sewers, where he lives with Dima, who's Omar Sharif, who we see at the start of the film sharing a fish with a rat, and he has become Peter O'Toole's servant because 5 years have passed. Christopher Lee's still in a coma, so they haven't got the money, but the promise of the money and gold is what keeps Dima hanging around Peter O'Toole, while Peter O'Toole again talks about alchemy. So again, there's perhaps a little Jodorowskyism in the through line of the alchemist from the Holy Mountain, and he talks about soul and transformation, which obviously is an obsession with Jodorowsky, whereas Omar Sharif's character is about the material and wanting gold and money. He has debts with Ian Jury's barman. He has a kind of relationship with this woman who sells papers called Ambrosia. And by this time, the wolfhound is dead. It's called Kronos. There's a Greek god of time. But Peter O'Toole has Kronos in his mind alive. He's almost like a Jim Henson puppet, which Peter O'Toole does the voice for as well. He still believes he's alive. So obviously Peter O'Toole is a little eccentric too. Obviously runs in the family. And Omar Sharif and Peter O'Toole pretty much spend most of the film shouting at each other in this nice production design of this place that they live in the sewers. But they spend a lot of the time shouting at each other. We follow Omar Sharif on the ground out of the sewers, and there's circus performers, and there's one small person. The producers no doubt said to Jodorowsky, "You're allowed one small person. There's no amputees that I can see, but you're allowed one small person, one giant, a couple of fake blind people. So we'll let you have a little Jodorowskyisms, but not loads of Jodorowskyisms." And you can kind of tell, again, this is neutered Jodorowsky, reined in Jodorowsky. And Omar Sharif steals and tries to get food just to feed the prince, and under the guise of, once Christopher Lee dies, Peter O'Toole will get all the money and share it with Omar Sharif, even though Peter O'Toole's character makes it clear that he's not actually interested in money. He's interested in the soul and eternal paradise, but also these are concepts that Omar Sharif's character just doesn't understand, or is too desperate to grasp those kind of concepts. And then near the end of the film, there's a deluge, and you have to give credit to Sharif and Omar O'Toole, um, because they're not young men when they made this film, but the last like 15-20 minutes of the film is in a deluge, and they're in sewer tunnels almost up to their necks in water. Whether it was heated or not, I'm not quite sure. But you have to give them credit because they spend a lot of time up to their waists and more in hard running water. And again, the pair of them do the best that they can. Their performances are full of energy and they're trying their best, but you can feel that the whole kind of film has this air of this isn't really what somebody would have done if they were actually in complete control. The script wasn't written by Jodorowsky. That was written by Bert Dominguez, who has a role as one of the street women. So this is just, it's not really a Jodorowsky film. I don't put this in with his other films. Again, I haven't seen Tusk, but which he only wanted to make so he could ride an elephant. And I'm guessing he just made this for the money, even though apparently it was a $10 million film, which in 1990 I think still a fair amount. Granted, you can't really see where the money went. Still, if you look at the images that I've pinned onto this video, it looks like it does have some Jodorowsky imagery in it, but they're so fleeting, and unlike his other films, he doesn't, pour over these images. They're not really the poetic images that you find in pure Jodorowsky films. Again, this is neutered Jodorowsky, and neutered Jodorowsky just isn't as interesting, whether you like it or not, as his kind of more authored films. There's a nice piece of magic realism near at the end of the film, and what that resolution means for Dima, Omar Sharif's character, is entirely up to the viewer. But again, this is a film that's for Jodorowsky completists. I can't imagine this ever getting a Blu-ray release. Whether the film was originally longer and it was cut down, I think it was, but we'll never see a director's cut because there's just no interest in seeing a director's cut of this film. So again, O'Toole and Sharif do the best they can. There is some little Jodorowsky-isms, but this is not a Jodorowsky authored film. It has its problems. It is a bit dull in places. Certainly the opening 10 minutes with Christopher Lee are certainly not dull. They're very colourful, with the Rainbow Girls, who each wear a different colour lingerie, obviously, because they're rainbows. The Rainbow Thief, there's not really that much to talk about. Again, there's no pages and pages of notes of symbolism, the smatterings of the tarot, but again, nothing is ever expounded upon or extended in this film. It's just, we'll let you have a wee bit with tarot cards, we'll let you have one small person, we'll let you have a couple of circus performers, but again, this is Jodorowsky light, to say the least. So thanks very much for watching part 5 of Jodorowsky. Part 6, again, there's a lot of years between part 5 and part 6, so hopefully you'll join me for part 6. So thanks so much for watching. Please let me know if you've seen The Rainbow Thief and what you think of it. And hopefully you'll join me again, as I say, for part 6 of Jodorowsky. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films saying farewell.